Here in problem 10, we have another example of an equation to be solved. But in this instance, the equation is not linear. The highest power of the variable is 2. That's our quadratic equation. And this particular equation, quadratic equations, typically have two solutions we have to find, two values of x that will make the statement true. And in this instance, those values of x, if we plug them in, have to make the left side become 0, because that's what the right side is. Remember, when you're solving quadratic equations, the first thing you have to be certain of is that the equation is in standard form, which this equation happens to be in standard form. Standard form, we want to write the squared term first, the first power term of the variable second, the constant third, equals 0. We need to have 0 on one side of the equation if we're going to solve a quadratic equation by our factoring method. And that's what we want to do next, is we want to factor this trinomial. Remember, when you're factoring, you always want to look for common factors first if they exist, which in this instance we have no factor that we can divide out of every term. Remember, to be a common factor, you have to be able to divide it out of every term of the polynomial. So there's no common factor. This is simply a trinomial that I'm going to factor. Remember to put in your signs, bring that first sign down, then ask yourself, a minus times what kind of sign makes a minus? Well, to get a minus, you have to take a minus times a plus. A minus times a plus makes minus. Now, look at the first term of the trinomial. What terms can you multiply together to give you x squared? Well, that would be x times x, wouldn't it? So, since there's only one, I can immediately put them in. Now look at the third term of the trinomial. What factor pairs are there of 33? Well, that would be 1 and 33, or 3 times 11. Right? There are no other factor pairs that are whole numbers that make 33 when you multiply. So one of these pairs has to make the 8 for me. And I believe if I put the 11 there and the 3 there, that's going to give me minus 8x under the O and the I of FOIL. Let's verify that. The O of FOIL would give me plus 3x. And the I of FOIL would give me minus 11x. And those two terms combine to minus 8x. You have 3, you owe 11, that's the same as owing 8, minus 8. So now we have factored that trinomial. Now we need to find the values of x that can make these factors become 0. Because if one of these quantities becomes 0, then the entire left side of the equation is 0, and that matches up to the right side, so that makes it a solution. Well, it's pretty easy to see in these situations. If we let x be positive 11, 11 minus 11 would be 0. 0 times anything is 0. Or x could be negative 3, because negative 3 plus 3 would be 0. 0 times whatever it would be. Actually, if we put negative 3 here, negative 3 minus 11 would be negative 14, wouldn't it? But 0 times negative 14 is still 0. And here are the two solutions to that quadratic equation.